Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? And welcome back to BRL. It's round four. It's Great Britain, one of my favourite tracks. There might be a little bit of bias in there, but we'll just gently brush over that. I hope you're all doing well. You join me on a brand new desk. There's a lot more space. I've now got my two monitors set up nicely. I've even got my two studio monitors. They're speakers, by the way. They're nicely set up. I have a whole section over here for no reason. My mic's in a brand new place. It's nice. There is so much more space for me to sit and waffle. Uh, and it looks a lot nicer as well. So I'm a very happy man. With that in mind, we've nearly got a full grid. We should be starting soon. But let's be honest here. When have we ever shown up on time? There's a good point. Daedric needs to get his car. Oh, he's done that. Shy Guys in. Righty, we are readying up. That is lovely. Right, let's talk a little bit about what happened last week. If you remember correctly, it was Austria. Yeah, it was Austria. And after that round, this is what the standings look like. J Horse is now sat comfortably at the top, isn't he? He is flying away with this just a little bit. With Krasnos and Backbone actually very close to each other. So that can definitely be seen as a good little fight to have for the rest of the season. Thompson slightly further back. He's in a bit of his own space at the moment. And Henson and Mr. Cookie, look at that, 38 and 37 points. Not going quite as good for Cookie as I think people might have expected, especially since his domination last season. We'll take a little bit look at the constructor standings, but they kind of tell us the same story that we saw before. McLaren, Mercedes, and AlphaTauri all doing very well. AlphaTauri slightly further back off the pace and just a point above Alfa Romeo, so they're getting themselves in the mixer a little bit. But McLaren are comfortably running away with it at the moment. 100 points to Mercedes 80 and 65 to AlphaTauri. So McLaren clearly doing well. That help from J Horse is huge. Um, clearly, I mean, out of that, how many points does J Horse got out of that lot? 74 of those points, so nearly three quarters. And there's Daedric Prince there with 26 in P8. So okay, yeah, it might be a little bit dominant, but at the same time, that's kind of what we expect from a lot of these teams. Um, I shall let you know once again. The cough is still here. You'll hear me mute for no reason. I've got to say, it does sound kind of weird. I did look back at it, and it's really rather strange because it's almost like it goes silent, and then you just hear me come back and say, "Yeah, death has once come again," and you have just no. Whereas me, I am coughing my head off at that time. It's weird to think that that's what you lot hear, but that's oh well. I don't really care. Righty, we are getting going. Here we are. Nice little Great Britain home race for me, and I think for a lot of drivers, it is our home races. So it should be fun. It should always be interesting. It's always good fun to come around Silverstone and see what goes down. Oh god, I'm tired. Apparently, I've done square root of nothing today, so I should be rather awake, but I'm not, which is not ideal. Yummy Jesse for the win. Yummy Jesse. Who's Yummy Jesse? Am I going blind? No. Kresnos, J Horse, Harry and Shy Guy, Summer Boss fan. Usu AMG, I've never seen them before, they're new. Exceleste, I recognise. Sizek, yeah. Jimmy, Daedric, Amleth, R. Henson, R. Hazard, Tommy, F1ology, Thompson and Lizzie, Matt and Cookie. There is no Yammer Jesse there. I don't know who you're on about, Sunshine, but it ain't there. Hey, we got some racing on a quali out lap. Lovely stuff. Right, let's get ourselves sorted, shall we? Lap data and track map into full track map, with that changed to gap to leader. It's the same every time, and yet somehow I manage to forget nearly every time to always do one bit. Nearly everybody is out, and yeah, I mean, hopefully we should be getting some flying laps beginning soon by the looks of it. Here's a big train of people actually, just about to start their laps. That's Hazard there, who's going to start his lap first. So we'll sit on board and watch him. As many drivers in front now, they're not very spread out, I'll be honest. That could cause some problems, but we love to see it. We love problems. Problems are fun. Right. Now, I did Tier 2 in our PRL series at Great Britain. Me and J-Horse, we were in the comms box, and we didn't have a clue what the names of the corners were. I'm getting a bit better. So that's Woodcut. And then we're going into Cops. I think everybody knows Cops Corner. Through nicely. Right, then we got nothing. No, Maggots, Beckett's, nothing. Vale? I want to say that's Vale. And then down onto the hanger straight. And then, oh my god, complete Stowe. Down into Club. And then I can't remember the final corner. Silverstone with corner names. Isn't that funny when I type S? That's the first thing that comes up. Oh no, Vale is down at the end. It was Chapel. Damn it. Chapel. Of course it's Chapel. Right, ping that up. Save that image. No, I'm not. I'm going to just keep it there. That makes my life so much easier. Right. Either way, Mr. Cookie currently stands at the top with the 125.5. Hazard went a little bit slower, 3.5 tenths. And a few other drivers now beginning to set times. They're not doing ideally, are they? It's a Thompson through next. Let's see how he gets on as he runs down the hanger straight. Thank you very much. And up to Stowe, all the way up the hill. And right, okay. So I know how, like, in the game you can see that's uphill. Oh my god, it's like a cliff face. It's such a walk getting up that hill. Did a small section of a track walk when I went to watch a MotoGP race at Silverstone. And my god, it's an incline and a half. Jay Thompson there went to purple sector 3, but it wasn't quite enough to get himself, in fact, nearly half a second, not enough. So there goes F1ology onto the board. We've got a few drivers now that will be coming into the pit lane. Should probably see what car we're missing. Not missing an Aston Martin, not missing a Mercedes, not missing a Williams, not missing a Alpha Tauri, not missing a McLaren, not missing a Red Bull. We are missing an Alfa Romeo. That's quite good. That's quite quick. I'll ping that early. Right. It's quiet out on track all of a sudden. We've gone from nearly half the grid setting a time to now everybody's just cruising in. Or they've decided to not go for a lap, such as J-Horse, AMG, Daedric, who's just leaving actually, Aaron Milleth, Henson, Alizzi, Matt, all haven't done a lap yet. But some of those drivers are beginning to come out on track, in particular Henson, Alizzi and Daedric. Of which Alizzi will be the first man to set a time, so we'll watch on board with the Aston Martin driver, who's got a nice Santander Ferrari helmet on in an Aston Martin. I don't know quite how well that's gone down within the two teams, but he's managed it, so fair play. What was that? I think that was Harryanator getting on the board there, 2.444 back to Mr. Cookie. Is this Mr. Cookie's revival, by the way, as well? He's top of the timing sheets. We haven't seen this at all this season. He's had some really, really horrible qualifying. He started at the back, I think, once or twice. Definitely started at the back once. Oh, the sprint racing was started towards the back as well. So, yeah, it's been a hard start for Cookie. He needs to turn it around sharpish, and I think this might just be the race for it, because after this race and next race, we're halfway through the season. It's mental, may I say. Absolutely mental that we're nearly halfway through season 5 already. I don't really know. I don't know. That freaks me out a little bit. I mean, we finished just prior to Christmas. This season goes on until 2023 finishes. Righty, speaking of, in no way whatsoever, Alizzi is coming round the last couple of corners, heading back down the hill again, and into one of the hardest braking zones. Whoa, what on earth was that? I just saw, I think that was an Alpine that just appeared out of nowhere for a frame, and he goes P7. It's a decent little time, isn't it? It's nothing major. Henson into the pits, interestingly enough. I think Daedric, yeah, is the next man. Purple Sector 1. That's interesting. Has Daedric found a bit more pace to play with? That'd be good to see. See the two McLarens fighting. Or was it just EA glitching? Because that is a perfectly viable option as well. And when I say I mean perfectly viable option. Right, we have 9 minutes. We've had half of quali, 9 minutes of quali to go. We are in the most boring part of quali, this middle lump where no one's really out on track. Everybody's beginning to get themselves out on track and start setting some times. It's the second run though. It's the third run that matters. Ferrari's out, interestingly enough. He has set a time. It's not ideal. It's not an ideal time to have set. It's a time, though, to be fair. That really is all that really matters. I think that's a Haas. That Tommy? No, it's the other Haas. It's Aramaleth running up the hill. Stowe doesn't... Oh, whoa, that's not a Haas. Right. Right, hang on. 1 second. That is getting more and more uncomfortable by the day. But it's got to be done. P11 for Aramaleth, 126. Is that where he was? I think so, roughly. I don't think he's changed all that much of a position there. His teammate, though, Tommy, is the next man through. Round the final corner, and it is a slight improvement. It's not anywhere near enough to get much out of. That would have been Sizik just going through. Osu also just finishes and goes through. Shy Guy ever so slightly improves, and the Mercedes of Kresnos is through next. Really down on his time and invalidated, so nothing much to worry about there. Two McLarens through next, in particular J-Horse into the pit lane, and Daedric also into the pit lane. So yeah, after J-Horse's quali lap, he's now very close to Mr. Cookie, but Mr. Cookie does still lead, which he'll be happy with. He won't be happy that he's shown up, as our Henson is on his out lap, and I think F1 Olivier is just starting his lap. Yeah. Williams, the two Williams are doing rather well at the moment. Other one Matt hits. Two Williams though, they haven't had a good string of events. Williams, they've just everything's just gone, seemed to go a little bit wrong. But as of right this second, you know, they're doing all right. Williams are P8 in the constructor standings at the moment. That's not what I wanted to look at. That's what I wanted to look at. Why is it showing me that? You get it like really annoying when something just doesn't do what you want it to. Yeah, Williams are 8th at the moment with 39 points. 4 points off of Aston Martin and 7 points clear of Haas. Then there's Ferrari, which has 4 points. It's Ferrari's having a rubbish season. Let's be honest here. Think about it. 2 seasons ago, Ferrari with J Horse, the partnership of dreams, went cruising to 2 world titles back to back. But that's not going to be the case this time. They're going to have to put in a bit more work. I don't think they're really going to take the title. A 96-point deficit is rather large after 4 races. So I think they can pretty much settle down for a nice P10, maybe a P8 finish if they start sorting themselves out. Righty, so some drivers are going at the moment. It's quiet. I use the word quiet minimally as well because it's really quiet out there. Harry Nater is on a lap by the looks of it, considering how close to his fastest time that is, but he needs to pick it up because that ain't good enough. 2.444. It's a big gap. I remember once in BRL where everybody was in 1 second, or it was like 1.2 or something, and I was well amazed with that. I understand why. 2.9 seconds difference is a lot. Where's Jimmy? Oh no, 1.4. For a second then, I thought Jimmy was doing really well. He's just jimmying it. Right, it's a little bit faster. It might knock him up to 70. Might take Shy Guy's place. Unlikely to do much more unless he can really nail sector 3. I don't think it's quite to be. It's a very slow acceleration out of club. It's going to be an improvement, significant improvement, which gets him now close to the back of the grid, but he still does in fact only gain 1 position. A few more drivers beginning to get themselves on laps, out laps in particular. Daedric, Amalef, Shy Guy, Osu, all on out laps. Excuse me. Alright, Shy Guy letting the Haas through there. It wasn't Tommy, it was Aramelef who's getting himself ready to go on a fast lap. So it's drivers towards the back that are going for fast laps at the moment, and Hazard, interestingly enough, as well. That's something to watch. It's slightly quicker. It's not much quicker. So he does remain P5. And he won't be gaining any positions from that. He's just closing the gap a little bit to Armour Wildbat. He's now very close, I must say. Who else we got? We've got Kresnos on an out lap as well, as of right this second. Daedric Prince, couple more corners to go for him. And the other Mercedes, that's Jimmy Jag, slightly further in front of Daedric. He's on an out lap as of right now. So this will be an important lap for Daedric actually. He won't get another lap after this. This is his final attempt as Cookie, Kresnos and Matt leave the pit lane, and I think J Horse is just running out the back as well. Yes, he is. So J Horse is indeed going for 1 more lap, as you know, you'd like to think he wants to probably be able to go for pole. Daedric Prince, P7, lovely stuff. That will be a very good start to his race. He's finished P7. I mean, don't get me wrong here. Tommy's probably going to outdo him on this final lap unless he makes the right after out of it. Top 4 though, that's where it is. In particular, top 3 actually. Kresnos gets underway. Right, we'll watch on to the top 4. You can see how everybody else is changing just behind, but Kresnos gets nice first braking point done through, what's that, village or farm? Village, no, that was village. Nicely down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands, purple sector 1. So he's clearly got good pace in purple in sector 1, right? So where's that 3/10 going? Where's it running? Away, obviously. It's not running with it. Otherwise, you know, that'd be a nice helpful advantage. Yeah, I'm trying to think where it's going. I'm not noticing any major mistakes. I mean, Maggers and Beckers is very difficult to get right, so it wouldn't surprise me if it had something to do with that. He's slightly up on his time. That is not good. Being slightly up in your time just means that it's going to be a really hard sector 3, and you've really got to push it, and I think he's pushed it just a little bit too much. Into the pits he goes. That's his quali over. Who's the next one through? I think it's Cookie. Cookie just going around Brooklands. It is not. It's Matt, then Cookie, then J-Horse. All pretty much on the same straight. One's on pit straight. They are now all on Maggers and Beckett's complex. This could be tight. Now, do I think Matt is going to progress above Kresnos? It's going to be tough. Let's see what sector 3 wields before he decides to possibly go for it. Yeah, he is going to finish the lap. He's probably in a good position here. Through the final corner, it's a little bit ice skatey, but he is going to make it. In comes Cookie. So Matt goes slower. Cookie goes into the pit lane as J-Horse gets Larry through club, and that is going to ruin his chances at pole position. So Mr. Cookie is going to take pole position out of a rather large surprise, considering the fact that he came into the pit lane. J-Horse will be kicking himself. I know it. He'll be fuming. I tell you, honestly, he'll be absolutely livid with himself. He'll be like, To be fair, so would I. A mess up final corner, quali lap, the all-important lap, and he just hasn't quite strung it together. So Cookie, ladies and gentlemen, gets himself on the top step. Interestingly enough, we're now waiting for Cookie. And F1ology, to be fair. Who's going to be first? Who's going to be first? Neither, apparently. Oh, it was at the same time. Right, Mr. Cookie, there we go, on pole position. Does so in rather marvellous fashion, being in the pit lane. J-Horse in P2 for the McLaren team, and Kresnos in P3 for the Mercedes. Jay Thompson at P4 for Aston Martin, and then Lizzie P5 for Aston Martin as well. That's a good day for Aston Martin. It's also a good day for probably their closest competitors, Williams, who come P6 and P7. Tommy in P8 and Daedric in P9. Henson P10, Excelis P11, Amaleth P12, Sizek P13, Simon Basfan P14, F1ology P15, Jimmy in P16, Harryanator in P17, Shy Guy in P18, and Osu AMG in P19 with a spread of 2.9 seconds, or 1 3/4 if we don't include Osu. I wouldn't say it's like a really, really open spread, but it's still not like close. I'll be honest. Right. Whilst they're making final changes to their setups, let's take a little look at our track. We're here in Silverstone. It's a beautiful 3.6 mile circuit with 2 DRS zones, which doesn't include the main straight for once. Turn 1 and turn 2, both flat out corners. It's turn 3 that's our braking zone. But important corners to watch out for would be Brooklands can always be a good one. We can always like a little bit of Brooklands. Possibly Stowe as well. Mackett's and Beckett's. There might be a bit of a spin over there. There's always somebody trying to go side by side through Woodcote and Cops. Just don't let them do a 2021, whatever you do. Why is that going straight to the 5 red lights? I have no idea, but it is 5 red lights. It should be a safety car, but we're not having a safety car today, and we're away already, and Mr. Cookie gets off to a pretty decent start there. J-Horse has to take second place, and his Cresswell's going to try and soar around the outside there of Jay Thompson. He's going to get that move done. No, not quite. They're still going to go side by side. Jay Thompson could possibly get a position here right at the early start of the race. His teammate in the mediums of the Aston Martin just behind. Following through, Elizzi trying to take whatever he can get out of this position as well. Jay Thompson's through. Can Elizzi get through? Can the two Aston Martins become side by side once again? Yes, he can. Good move made. Mercedes is trying to hang it in there, and I think he might as he gets a little bit heavy and spins round in the process. Krasnos, I think, was just slightly too late braking, and he sort of sent himself flying into that one. So that descends him down to P18 of all places. Aramilaf had an absolutely horrible start as well. He's P19, 1.1 seconds behind Krasnos. Considering the fact Krasnos spun as well, that is unfortunate. So Aston Martin is beginning to close up on each other as well, as Tommy's managed to split the two Williams. As XLS, what was going on there? David Prince getting off track, is just getting himself back on again, and will try to regain those positions. At lap 14 to 19 is our approximate, what's the word, pit window. Considering the fact that this race, interestingly, like Cookie and Jay Thompson, bold strategies, may I say. Silverstone is notorious for having one of the longest pit lanes in F1. There's one thing you don't want to do if you have a long pit lane, is driving it very much, because you spend more time at 50 kilometers an hour, or 80 kilometers an hour. My worry is they're going to probably have to pit 3 times. They're betting on a safety car early as well. They are betting an early safety car, and it doesn't help the fact that J-Horse just picked up purple sector 1. He's on the hards. How does he do it? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. It's impressive, to be fair. It is impressive how well he does it. It's just gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't even know what sorcery this man is achieving sometimes. He's fighting the pole man, who's on softs, on a set of hards, and isn't actually doing that badly. He's got Jay Thompson just behind him, well, literally just behind him. That could turn out a little bit interesting. Jay Thomas could probably go for a move soon. Is he going to go for it here? Not quite. My apologies. Jay Thompson and Lizzie picks up fastest laps. Everybody's just saying fastest laps up at the top. As DRS is now disabled, this could really help or hinder this this race fight. I mean, to be fair, we have got Jay Horse and Jay Thompson up at the top. These are one of our 2 best drivers on the grid. The other Aston Martin, though, Lizzie, is falling a little bit. He's trying to keep himself in it, trying to keep himself just that little bit relevant. Like, hey, I'm here, and I will come for you if you make a mistake. He's sort of lurking. He's always lurking. I need some chocolate, man. I'm going again. I return. Slightly more dead than I was before. Isn't that just wonderful? Aston Martin's finally going to go for it. He's going to make the move on J-Horse. Move made. Very nicely done as well. So that puts the 2 softer compound drivers into the top 2 positions. Now, this is exactly where they want to be. They don't want to have to fight anybody, maybe other than themselves at the moment. They just know they need to make these tyres last, as physically long as possible. Try and get J-Horse to break that DRS. Try and get him to break it earlier. Because he's on the alternate strategy. I mean, the softs is the alternate. But the hards to mediums is the alternate strategy. Obviously, you have a probably longer run on those hards. Whereas on a mediums, then you can spend a little bit longer on the mediums, which is weird. But people consider older mediums still faster than fresh softs, or like semi-fresh softs. I don't really understand the logic. I don't know anything in the clue about tyre wear. It's really not my forte, I'll be honest. Oh, I'm sorry, so sorry. You don't want to hear that. I mean, the field isn't actually all that shut out. Like, it's still quite spread. It's like spread in certain places as well. So the gap between Amawal, Matt, and Lizzie, huge. But then the gap between Matt and like Simon Barsafan is about as long. I don't know how. But I'm right. It's 2.8. I thought 2.4. That's close, you know. That's close. I'll take that. As you can see, I am beginning to waffle already, which is not good considering the fact that we're only 5 laps. We're only a quarter of the way into this race. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Never good. Does my eyes a huge favour though. Because by the time I'm finished, I don't know why. I don't know what makes me so tired when I commentate sometimes. I can literally just sit down and then all of a sudden struggle to keep my eyes open. I've been keeping my eyes open for the last 3 hours playing Gran Turismo. It just denies me the moment I start talking for like more than 5 minutes. Yeah, these four are sticking. Actually, I'm going to shut that window. I'm freezing. It was really hot in there. So I opened the window for a minute. Obviously, it has really gone cold. Oh my god. Hey, I'd say I could do with a big hoodie or like a blanket or something, but then I would without a doubt fall asleep. That's probably not. We had a little yellow flag there for a second. That would have been in the Maggots and Beckons area. And it would have been Shy Guy. But he's managed to sort himself out. And he's going once again. So nothing much to report there. I'm still curious as to... Sorry. I'm still curious as to how this strategy is going to work out. Because Mr. Cookie and Jay Thompson... And those tyres aren't going to be much longer. Because... Silverstone is a big circuit. It takes a long time to get round. It's got lots of corners which are tyre breakers. Woodcote, Luffield, Copse, Maggots and Beckett, Stowe. All these corners really put a lot of stress and strain on those tyres. Which is why the softs don't last very long. Which is just another contributing factor as to why a lot of people decide, actually, no, you know what, I'm going to go for the mediums or I'm going to go for the hards. I say, yeah, as I said before, it's identical to... What's the reason again? Money, I think. I don't even remember that. I remember being shot to pieces by the looks of it. It's pretty quiet. We're getting a couple of moves done down towards the back of the grid. As Kresnos is beginning to try and fight his way back through the field. He needs it. So does Mr. Cookie. Mr. Cookie needs that place back. I mean, to be fair, I don't think they want to fight all that much. As I said earlier, because it will just cause J-Horse to catch up more. And like, don't get me wrong, J Horse is like hunting him for the kill. He's just waiting for Cookie and Thompson to go for a move, and then J Horse can go through and Lizzie can follow. Because that's what a lot of drivers do when they're sort of second in that sort of queue. If you just follow the first driver through, it's so easy to get the move done. Honestly, I rate people that don't do it on the brightest, if I'm honest. Nicely done there by Jay Thompson. I'm gonna get jumpy, you know. To be fair, I think sometimes with myself, just getting up and standing for 5 minutes, doing just a bit of standing commentary, makes my life so much better and much more alert by the feels of it. It just is the rather frustrating part. I have to stand and do it. It could be worse, couldn't it? Couldn't have a desk at all, you know. That was once upon a time, pretty much this time last year, actually. Yeah, it'd have been this time last year, Tier 2. I used to do it sat on my racing sim, and you could hear it creak because it is the single loudest thing known to mankind. I swear these two keep swapping, and I just don't notice. I don't know how I don't notice. I just haven't noticed. Must be just through DRS to just quickly get a move done. Whoa! Thompson's had a bit of a mare there, hasn't he? What has he done? He's just gotten a bit loose, and I think that's going to allow J-Horse through. Yes, it is. Crucial move by J-Horse there. And a big, big mistake for J Thompson, because all of a sudden that's putting him on soft tyres in a worse position, in a worse physical position as well. So not only is it a metaphorical oh dear, it's a physical oh dear as well. I don't know whether he's going to recover. I think he will. He does still look a little bit quicker than J-Horse, surprisingly. Big thing though for this is for Cookie actually. This might just give him the opportunity to escape DRS. But by the looks of it, J-Horse is really quick through Maggers and Beckers. Dropped Thompson and has caught up about 3 attempts to Mr. Cookie. And he'll just gain more time down this straight. All of a sudden, it's 3.5 tenths going in through Stowe. Going to extend it a little bit. He's literally his number watching. Elizzy is the first man to make the move, interestingly enough. It's a bit early, especially for those mediums. Don't know whether he's expecting something to happen. I must say the clouds are looking a bit grey. Now, no one usually, if it's looking like it's going to rain, are Henson or J-Horse or Cookie will shove it in the group chat or in the live chat saying, hey mate, it's looking likely to rain. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. You can refer back to last week as well for that. Thompson is so close to the back of J-Horse, isn't he? It's not going to be long before he goes for that move again. Who's going to go for it then? In maggots. That's to say, that's not a wise idea. All three of them have got a really good run. I think Cookie's only just holding on to that. Oh my god, that was close. These three are running really well at the moment. Bang! Thompson in. That's important. That's really important, actually. That throws a right spanner in the works. Because now all of a sudden, how long is it really going to be before Mr. Cookie thinks, yeah, no, it's probably the right time for me as well. Whoa! Oh no, that's just Thompson. For a second, I thought that was Tommy that had a mare there. Luckily not. Just Thompson in the pits. And he'll be leaving the pits shortly. Right towards the back of the grid. Oh, that's that's a lot of positions lost. Like a lot of... He's going to be down with his teammate, down with a Lizzie. Which is about right, to be fair. A Lizzie is going to get the undercut on him. Except for the fact that Lizzie started on mediums, whereas Thompson started on the softs. But yeah, Lizzie's ended up in a better position there. But I don't know for how long is Mr. Cookie going to be in the better position. Is it going to be an on-track pass, or is it going to be Cookie coming into the pits first? No, he's made a mistake at Cops, which could lead J-Horse into a good run through Maggots. It's going to be a solid run. All he wants to do is just try and keep his car as close as physically possible. And yes, he is. He's gaining through Chapel. As now onto the DRS straight. He's barely 2 tenths behind. He's going to swap to the inside. He's going to get the move done on track. Nicely done. J-Horse into the lead of the race. Mr. Cookie has to give it up after quite a few laps. 11 laps, to be fair, before yet diving into the pit lane. Unsurprisingly, for those soft tyres, they're completely finished. So importantly, now I'm going to move to this battle, which has kind of been taking place, not been taking place. It's sort of just been driving in sections. And I mean, look at it. It's Ferrari backed by Williams, backed by Haas, backed by another Ferrari, and then backed by the AlphaTauri of our Henson. So it's a good fight for P2 as of right now. Obviously, pit stops haven't been factored into that. In particular, though, we've got Tommy, yeah, just Tommy in this battle that's picked up a penalty. Let's take a little look at how big that penalty is. It's just a little 3-second. Shy Guy has retired from the session, which has brought out a safety car. In my opinion. Oh, who's this good for? What it's not good for is Jay Thompson, Mr. Cookie, and a Lizzie, who have all just taken pit stops, only for everybody else to now take a pit stop and get it for free, basically. Medium runners. To be fair, I think the hard runners will probably come in as well. But really, they'd want to leave it a few laps, wouldn't they? But then, to be fair, we'd stay on the safety car until, what, lap 13, 14? And then what, it'd be 11, 12-ish laps on those medium tyres, like actual race speeds. So yeah, no, perfectly viable for the hard tyres to come in. Definitely logical for the medium tyres to come in. This is so bad for Cookie and Thompson. Cookie's trying the soft medium. Bloody hell. That's good. That's bold. Right. Interestingly, though, is are Thompson and Cookie going to come out in front? No. No, they're not. I think J-Horse has got the jump on them, you know. Unless that's Daedric. J-Horse is out. Yes, he is. A Lizzie gets through. So does Thompson. Does Cookie? No. Cookie doesn't. Oh, dear. That's bad for Mr. Cookie. That's really bad. He's got Hazard and now Exodus in between. Oh, our Henson as well into a good position. Cresnot and Jimmy have gone for the softs. Bold move, boys. Bold, bold move. So, yeah, I mean, J-Horse is in a phenomenal position, isn't he? all of a sudden, right, so J Horse was whoops guy, changed his name, I forgot, Shy Guy for the win, in one of the worst ways. What happened, Shy Guy? I didn't actually see it, unfortunately. I just saw yellow flags, and then I saw your name go shadow, and then I just saw safety car. But by the time I saw it, you'd already disappeared, so I couldn't even see where you crashed. What happened? Oh, right. I'm really curious as to see how this finishes now. Because essentially, Mr. Cookie and J Horse were about even on quality pace. Let's be real. I got a freeze frame, almost broke my hand, and I was in the wall. Oh god. That's not good. I'm guessing that was your motor that nearly broke your hand. Oh yeah, that's nasty. I hope your hand's alright. Ice it if you need to. Loads of ice. Jay Thompson's got a penalty? Since when? When did he pick that up? Only a 3-second. But 3 seconds, huge amount of time. Ooh, that looks a bit weird. I've actually gone back and sat in my seat now, but I've gone to tilt my monitor again. What was it now? Oh yeah, I was checking this. And about Thompson got this penalty. He hasn't got it there. Oh no, I remember him getting the penalty. I think. Do I? No, it was after he came into the pits. That'll be why. Right, is safety car in? I hope so. We're still waiting on that Red Bull, aren't we? Yeah, because J Horse ain't giving the safety car any room. We're going for another lap. Ooh, this just benefits J Horse. Every lap behind the safety car is just another lap in favour of J Horse, to be fair. I'm curious as to see how this is going to play out. My simplest prediction? Wildly. Keep yourselves tucked in. We've still got a little while of this safety car to go. Hopefully not too much longer though. I don't think so anyway. Can't even score some simple. Oh no no no! Don't think of it like that. If you got a freeze frame, you can't really pin that on yourself, can you? I'll, but if my game glitches out, if you remember trying to watch me for season 4, or what's it sort of? No, the back end of season 3 was alright. Basically, if you tried to watch any of my stuff for season 4, I never blame myself. It's the internet. The internet got the blame for every time. I wouldn't give second thought to maybe the fact that it was my fault. Yeah. Blame EA. I mean, you have EA, so blame them. Friday. We are getting ourselves ready to go. Thank God for that. It's needed. J-Horse has gone very early as well, may I say. There we go. That's what I want. Oh my God, I'm putting my foot right where my PlayStation is. It's red hot. Just as nearly as much as these tyres, hopefully. I don't think they warmed them up brilliantly, I'll be honest. So it should be interesting to see how they get on. Sorry, my apologies. Right, so Lizzie is already losing a lot of time to J-Horse. I think he might break the second mark by the time we hit the next section. He's got a purple Sector 1 there. No one's faster through Sector 1. J-Horse is looking in a really, really strong position as of right now. Most people slightly in front, all on hards between Cookie and J-Horse. Going to be difficult for them to keep up, and it's already showing as J-Horse now breaks that second margin on lap 16. So he's got 10, sort of 11 more laps on these tyres, but considering the fact that he hasn't really gone on these tyres, it's basically exactly the same length as those medium runners were before the safety car. It was ideal for J-Horse as they'd already come into the pits. Additionally, for hard tyres, which is just going to make him a little bit slower, as Mr. Cookie's now going to want to try and get past sooner rather than later, as it's absolutely chaos here towards the back of the grid, as Daedric Prince is having to go a little bit wide, trying to see whether he could make a move, but it wasn't quite to be, and we're going to be stuck on this stupid camera, and that stupid camera, but I think the... Sorry, the Haas is going to get the slightly better exit there. See how they're running side by side through turn 1 now. Is the McLaren going to get the better run? Only just. He's going to have the outside here. Is the Red Bull? Red Bull's going to try and get involved in here. Brilliant braking there by the Haas. Not as good turning. Is he going to get slightly better this time? Yes, but the McLaren stays in. It doesn't quite for the second half of the corner. The Haas gets the position. Tommy up to P10. Daedric to P11. And Sizek just sneaking around in the back, isn't he? Just having a little look. He's just curious as to see what's going on here. This though is a full-on move by the the Ferrari. It's red, it's not a Red Bull, but I think that almost going to propel Jay Thompson to try and go for his teammate. He's been getting put under so much pressure here by the Ferrari, by Exodus. He's now thought, actually no, if I just go for a move on a Lizzie instead, let a Lizzie deal with Exodus, and then I'll just drive away. I mean, it's logical thinking, considering the fact that J-Horse is nearly 2.5 seconds now. Has run away 2.5 seconds in a matter of a lap. Oh my God, he's going to go for it. No, that was close. I was about to say, I'm glad he pulled out of that, because that was a I don't recommend one sort of move, you know? Right, DRS is enabled now, which will set this battle on fire, I imagine. I mean, they're already hammering it down this track. These three cars are utterly going for it, like all hell's broken loose. Noticeably, Jay Thompson runs quite a different driving line to a Lizzie. He's much more aggressive, much wider corners for Jay Thompson. Interestingly, he's going to go for it and get that move done on a Lizzie. Pushes him up to second place on track. However, though, with that 3-second time penalty, he's what? Sort of P7-ish, sort of down where our Henson is, as I'm a Barca fan. That's surprising, actually. That's a big, big way back. I think he's just about tips out our Henson, but not by much. If our Henson picks up the pace a little bit, it shows here Mr. Cookie's managed to get himself past Hazard and is now tracking down the back of these boys. Through Magnus and Beckett's significantly quicker. And look at that on the exit as well, even quicker still. And I think Elizzi's going to try and go for the move once again. He's slightly too far back, and I think if anything, he's going to have a bit of an attack by the Ferrari. Not quite to be, but I think possibly next time. No, not quite. Kresnos, interestingly, getting himself up into P8, using those soft tyres to his advantage nicely, and gaining those well-needed positions as Jay Thompson's just beginning to pull a little bit of a gap between Elizzi and Exodus. But I don't think it helps the fact that those two are basically running tip for tail most of the lap. Hazard definitely going to try and get involved in this battle as well, as he's now beginning to catch up to the back of Mr. Cookie. Definitely going to cause that chaos at Williams. Is he going to go for it? No, not quite. Oh God, speaking of Williams, if many of you don't know, Williams are sponsored by a watch company called Bremont. We make some amazing watches. I'm a big fan of them. I went to a Bremont shop at the weekend. I got to try on the Williams watch. It was absolutely beautiful. Lovely bit of work. It did cost £5,000 though. So I politely declined and went about my day. But it was very nice. And I thought I'd share that little anecdote with you. Whilst this Ferrari is trying to get on the back of him, and I think he's going to go for it finally. It's taken him a little while. The Ferrari's through. Exlist up into P3. Gets himself into, well, I'd say get himself into a podium position. He already was with Thompson getting demoted on penalties. But into just an ever so slightly nicer position nevertheless. Mr. Cookie is now really pushing the back of Elizzi as well. I think he wants to get that move done. He's seen the Ferrari go through. He knows it's plausible. In fact, if anything, he could do it at turn 3 here with the pace he's got. And I think he is going to go for it on those medium tyres. He's got the move done. Fair play. He's going to switch it out. Aston Martin's going to have the outside line for these two corners. But I think with the better tyres and better traction, he gets through nicely. Yeah, very nicely done, actually. Just about tips DRS, because he's actually out of the DRS zone as of right now by 0.3 of a second. So he's going to have to close that down by the time he hits Magnus and Beckers. But I think he's got a rather good chance of doing that, especially with the slightly cleaner air that he'll get from driving that little bit further back. He should be able to catch up nicely, especially considering the fact that Excelest is right on the back of Jay Thompson. He's not going to be going at full pelt. And speaking of, here is Exodus. Here is the Ferrari driver who sort of come out a little bit out of nowhere and gotten himself into some really nice positions and into some really good racing as of right now. He's pushing that. He's pushing the Aston, isn't he? He's really pushing the Aston. I don't think Mr. Cookie. Oh no, Mr. Cookie did get DRS, only just though. As he just tipped back over the second and now back under it again, so he's now back within DRS range. He's very hit or miss for the Cookie at the moment, isn't it? He's up and down and left and right and in and out and roundabout. It's always good to see a driver that can adapt and can get himself into some really solid positions. And Exodus is doing that nicely, as obviously past Jay Thompson now. It's a simple little move, but it's one that he'll be rather pleased with. Righty, well, it's all a little bit quiet out on track at the moment, isn't it? Everybody's it's calmed down a fair bit. I mean, Cookie, though, is gaining on Jay Thompson, isn't he? And Jay Thompson hasn't exactly dropped... Oh, my God. Jay Horse has just got a 3-second time penalty. Oh, that throws a spanner in the works. All of a sudden, he was in a solid position. He was about 3 seconds off of the Jay Thompson when Jay Thompson was leading. He's only 2.7 at the moment, which means Excelist is currently winning this race. The Ferrari driver, you know, Ferrari, that team that have done horrendously all season, are now currently winning a race. And they're getting closer. J-Horse is getting slower. What is going on? I am gobsmacked. J-Horse will now put the hammer down, I imagine, which is going to force Excelist to do the same. But I guess probably they're at a point now where those hard tyres are going to begin to become stronger, aren't they? They're going to become stronger than those mediums, for sure. Hence why it's pretty much even pickings throughout all the corners. J-Horse, I think, slightly quicker through some of the corners, and then Excelist slightly quicker down the straights. Jay Thompson, though, he's closing in on Excelist. As Mr. Cookie's just slightly sat outside of their fight. Whilst this could put some pressure on Excelist, I think possibly Jay Thompson could do J-Horse a massive favour here and fight. If he fights, that's going to slow both of them. Jay Thompson knows he's not winning this race, so he may as well fight and get a little bit in front, so he can try and gain as many places, as much time as he physically can. It would be stupid for Jay Thompson not to fight, really. That's as and when he can get a move done. J-Horse is beginning to re-extend that lead. He's got a couple more laps to get himself back over that 3-second margin, but it's not quite happening at the moment, is it? It's 2.9, 2.8 really. It's now ticking on 10 lap old medium tyres. You've got to remember 3 laps of that was under safety car conditions, so really they're going to be about 10 laps old as we know it at the end of the race. So yeah, this is going to be really tight. It's going to be really tight. And J-Horse, you could just see, he's just ever so slightly extending it. He's just taking little snippets here and there. He's just slightly improving. But I'm amazed J-Horse has gotten to the point where he needed 3 seconds of time penalties. J-Horse is one of the only drivers that we confidently say most of the time isn't going to pick up a penalty. Because for the most part, he is really good at sticking within the white lines. Obviously today, he's made a mistake and it's put him under pressure. London. Interestingly enough, Lizzie's beginning to get in on this fight with Cookie and Thompson. I mean, Cookie is the only one here without a penalty. And, oh my god, Jay Thompson's going for it. He's gone for it. He's gotten the move done very nicely as well. But interestingly enough, that is just going to put distance between J-Horse and Excelist. So he's gone for it, full well knowing that this is basically pretty much handing in J-Horse the win. But this is a good opportunity for Mr. Cookie to get past. He's now right on the back of that Ferrari. This could be a good fight now. Cookie and Excelist. Even if it wasn't a battle on time on that Delta, I think a good on-track fight between the Alpine and the Ferrari is something I can get on board with. And they are so close to each other. And I think Cookie is indeed going to try and go for it at the left-hander. Can he get it? Not quite. Into the left, into the right. Can he make it? He's going to have to stick round the outside. Is he going to get the exit he needs? Not quite. They're going to run side by side. Still side by side. And I think the Ferrari's ever so slightly in front. Right, now, Alpine has outside line for Copse, inside for Ferrari. Is he going to get the better on the speed? Yes, he is. That opens the door for the Aston Martin, who I think is going to try and go for it. And they do make a little bit of contact. Cookie sticks it around the outside, sticks it to the inside. It's good. It's really good outside line driving. And who on earth is going to get the DRS out of that? They all are. Cookie gets a good exit. Has got pretty much the same ERS, i.e. 0. Launches it at Stowe. Can he make it stick? Neither of them can make a corner stick as they fight. Get on ever so slightly onto the grass, and that opens the door for the Aston Martin possibly to go for the move. No, not quite. He's now all of a sudden under threat from Kresnos, who has flown out of there. And oh, there's a yellow flag in sector 3. That's a Haas stopped on track, missing a front wing. That's Tommy. No clue what happened to him. It's an absolute travesty. These two have fought brilliantly for the last 2 laps. Could we possibly have another one? I would rather like. Tommy retires from the race in the pit lane, so that's nothing too much to worry about. The Cookie there gets DRS. As Exelis at the moment is not within DRS range. 1.5, that's 1.3, 1.4 now. It's tight, but he isn't in DRS at the moment. Mr. Cookie obviously very much is. Jay Thompson will be happy with this as well, because that's definitely given himself a good amount of a good amount of opportunity to definitely gain some positions here, forcing Exelis and Cookie basically into fighting by making that move has really helped his cause massively. Is Cookie going to go for it? No, he's not. But oh my god, Kresnos tried it, didn't quite pull off. He's going to have to go again. That's Simon Barsfan and R. Henson slightly further down the back of the grid. Can R. Henson swap it back? No, not quite. Nope. And into Club. They stay in position. Right. Final lap, ladies and gentlemen. Final lap to get any moves made. It's pretty much Cookie and Exelis who we want to see fight the most. These two gone top for tail. Lap 24. Let's see how they get on lap 26. Mr. Cookie will have DRS here. Exelis will not. It's 3/10 back. It's just about enough. If Cookie really guns it, I don't think he's quite going to put it off into this corner. No, he's not. Brooklyn's safe for now through Luffield. Who can get the better exit? I'm not quite sure. It's so difficult to judge how fast these two are coming out of the corners, because they're pretty much going at exactly the same rate. I mean, these two are identical in pace. Lizzie as well is right behind Mr. Cookie, but at the same time I get this feeling that he doesn't want to intervene with the knowledge of his penalty. And he kicks up another 3-second time penalty there, and Mr. Cookie gets a really good run out of the Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel section, and he is going to go for it down the hanger straight. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he can. And Lizzie's going to go for the move as well on Exelis as he loses 2 places, which pretty much guarantees Mr. Cookie that podium position, as J-Horse does indeed come across the line here to win in Great Britain. It's a home win for the J-Horse, even though he's Spanish. No, he's not. He's English. Mr. Cookie comes across P2 in the end, and Jay Thompson picks up P3 on those penalties. Still, Exelis in the end falls P4, and Kresnos in P5. Hazard P6. Our Henson and Simon Barsfan ending up P7, P8 respectively, as everybody's beginning to filter through now. Only a couple more drivers to come through. Jimmy and Harry and Ada. We basically got half a lap remaining to say well done to J-Horse. It's a very, very good race and an awfully good finish at the end. And wow, I am surprised by the end of that race. Wow, what an end to a race. That was chaotic. I do love myself a chaotic end to the race, and well, I think the only thing that just about wasn't chaotic was this man, J-Horse, not Kresnos, J-Horse, who drove a phenomenal race to pick himself up a lovely win here in Great Britain. Nevertheless, congratulations to all 3 drivers on their star-studded positions. So, with that, J Horse picks up the win today with Mr. Cookie in P2. Jay Thompson finishes P3 in the end with Exlust in P4. Kresnos in P5 and Hazard in P6. Our Henson in P7 and Simon Barsfan P8. I'm a Womat P9 and Daedric Prince in P10. Isaac in P11. F1 Ology in P12. Amalef P13. Jimmy Jags P14. Harryanator P15, Lizzie P16, Osu P17, P18 goes to Tommy, and P19 is Shy Guy with just Shy Guy exiting the race, and Tommy finishing but having DNF very late in the race. He picks up a technical finish. So with that, I'm going to get us all nicely ready for a bit of driver interviews. Join me back in just a minute. Alrighty, and welcome to the post-race interviews. I am here, joined by currently two, but we have Jay Thompson, we have our P3 finisher, so we'll just wait for Mr. Cookie to show up eventually. Jay Thompson, how are you doing? Hello, Jay Thompson. Hello, how are you? I can imagine. I mean, first of all, that 3 second penalty. How bad did you think that was going to end?
I mean, yeah, I thought I was going to be thrown below podiums. And on that, actually, I need to watch my replay because I know for a fact that I did not go over actual track limits 3 times. I'm not sure if it was something with the pit entry because I went in the pits, didn't have a penalty, came out, and then Mark told me I had a penalty. I didn't even realize there was no pop up or anything. So I'll look through that, and if I if there's like anything that I think could be reported to get it taken off, then I will. But if not, then still a podium, so I'm still happy.
Yeah, I mean, talk us through. I know that you went for the pit stop, just a couple of laps, if not just a lap before the safety car. Um, when you saw that happened, did you think, "Oh, I'm really in trouble here," or was you still fairly confident that you could pull this back?
Um, no, I knew it was detrimental and that it given Jay Hawes a massive advantage, but I felt more bad for Mr. Cookie because he literally just came out the pits as the safety car came out, and I was like, damn, that's really hurt him. But he did well to bring it back as well. So yeah,
I mean, just talk us through the rest of the race. You had some cracking battles right at the very end there.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. I love racing wheel to wheel through the race. I think Silverstone's a big contributor to that because a lot of people are strong on the track. It's good for racing. It's fast paced. It's probably one of my best tracks as well, pace wise.
Mm.
So yeah, I love all the battles, and there's quite a few people still at the front that can race at the front. Um, so yeah, I'm enjoying my time, and it's a lot of fun.
That's glad to hear. That's why we do it at the end of the day. With
Exactly.
that, would you like to give your 3 word race roundup?
I would. I love Silverstone. That's mine because it's true. I adore this track.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, if that's the case, congratulations on your podium position, Dave Thompson. And we'll be seeing you next week.
Thank you very much.
See you later. Alrighty. Well, now let's have a chat with our P2 finisher, a man who I can greatly imagine that he shouldn't be here at all. Mr. Cookie, how are you doing?
Yeah, my hands are gone. They really are. I
What
don't
happened?
really have any words at the moment. Um, I don't know. I mean, I was happy with the pole position lap. I mean, I only did one lap, but realistically, it was only one lap that actually counted in the end, so I'm pretty happy with it. And then yeah, the safety car time was pretty woeful. I mean, I just come out the pits turn 3 and stuff, and then yep, just immediate safety car, which wasn't really the best thing I wanted. So yeah, the only positive I really actually got from that was um, like the 11 laps on start. So I'm still kind of surprised I managed to always keep doing that. So I'm still pretty happy with that stint. But yeah, that safety car timing was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I do have to ask. I was just a bit surprised when you rocked up with softs. What was the strategy idea behind that? A soft to medium?
Well, I have done it before in this league. I think it was literally back in last season. I did it before in this league. I have won with the strategy as well before. So I think also with Silverstone, sometimes the high difference is quite like not as much of a factor as it should be sometimes. And if you can just hold them off through the corner, then the only place they can really overtake is through DRS rates. And it's a really good way to save battery if you're kind of going at a slower speed than everybody else. So if you can just hold them back, you can save your ERS while they try and get past you. That's just
Hmm.
my thinking of it really. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it ends in some really like interesting battles like we probably saw in there. And yeah, I think it's just overall a pretty fun strategy to use, and it's just one some people might not expect it sometimes. That it really.
Yeah. Yeah. And other than that, talk me through that battle right at the end there with the Ferrari because that just went on and on and on.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, my hands were really shaking at that point because like I think on a controller around Silverstone, like my hands normally I hate them really. So like because through the
Hmm.
race they just really start hurting, and then when you're led side by side, you're so scared you don't want to crash or anything else like that. So I had to keep it really careful, but I also wanted to keep my nose in because it was like one of my only chances to overtake the Ferrari by the end. So yeah, I also always had a scare as well with us nearly being put into the wall at the pit entry there, but I don't really think that's anyone's fault. But um, it's completely fine, really. We've managed to come out pretty much unscathed, so I'm quite happy. Yeah, I'm just a bit out of breath.
I can imagine after a very stressful ending like that is very much understood. Um, Also, is this a bit of a bounce back that you need after not an amazing start to the season?
Um, yeah, I mean it's been pretty fun racing already. I think some of the people at the front have been really clean, done a really good job. I think some people midfield I think haven't been the greatest yet, but we can definitely improve on that. Um, But yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy. Probably still quite far behind, but as long as I'm having a lot of fun on racing, then that's all I can really ask for. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm about less than half the points of J-Horse, but if I'm having a lot of fun with it, then that's fine by me.
Fair enough. Well, on that note, should we give your 3-word race roundup?
Tough one. Somehow got second. I think like the safety car as well. So that's the thought behind it. I'm just so
Fair enough.
exhausted after that.
Well,
God.
congratulations on the P2. It's a very good result, especially considering the circumstances, and we'll be seeing you next week.
Very much.
Alrighty, well, now let's talk to our race winner, a man who basically drove flawlessly for the entire race. J-Horse, how are you doing?
Good, yeah, good. Glad to pick up the provisional win. Very, very lucky today, I think, would be the takeaway from this. I don't think I had my best race. I think I ruined quali both laps, and yeah, if Jay Thompson gets his penalty removed and I go down to second, I'm not going to complain at all, because I think yeah, bit silly for me today, but yeah, lucked out massively with the safety car timing, and from them was just saving tyres and also lifting and coasting on the last lap, which I think may potentially cost me the win. But yeah, nonetheless, it was good fun. I enjoyed the first stint. It was pretty tough, those first laps. Obviously, hards versus softs, so that was yeah, a lot of the ARS having to be used. But yeah, I think whatever happens, come out with some good points, and yeah, not too bad. Thank you.
Well, I've got to say, how much of a relief is it when, obviously, I know you picked up that 3-second time penalty, and you got some stress. When you saw the cars behind fighting and you could just see that delta time increase, how much of a stress sort of relief is that?
It's very nice. It's very nice. I think when I picked it up, I think it was XLS who was on same life hard tyres, I think. So I knew that he was going to be quick towards the end of the race, and I think he was about 2.5 behind. And then I think I got the gap up to about 3.4, and then they started fighting. So that was yeah, that was a nice relief and made the rest of the race a little bit easier. But yeah, I realised that I was in danger of running out of fuel probably a couple of laps too quickly, because I was a couple of laps too slowly. Sorry. Otherwise, I would have been able to manage it a bit easier and not cost myself so much time. So yeah, but they looked like they had a good battle, and I probably prefer to be in a bit all fighting than at the front stressing out. So I think I'm probably more anxious than everyone else behind me, which is a strange feeling. But yeah, nonetheless, good to be on the podium at least.
Yeah, well, a very good result. Other than that, I mean, it was a pretty quiet race for you. So should we just go to a 3-word race roundup?
Lucky boy.
Yeah, that sums it up.
We'll go with that one.
Alrighty, well, congratulations on the win, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. See you next week.
Alrighty. See you later, gents. Alrighty, and that rounds out tonight's race. I do hope all of you have thoroughly enjoyed watching. I have been the Characteristics as per usual. Sorry, Jimmy. I wasn't looking at the YouTube. I'm so sorry. You'll have to ask him yourself. Thank you all very much for watching. Good night.